that Vayishar in Pasuk Yudbet Vayisharna Parot Baderech Al Derech Beit Shemesh B'Mistilachat Halchu Haloch V'Gao V'Lo Saru Yemen U'Smol V'Sarnei Flishtim Holchim Achreim Ad Gvul Beit Shemesh. It seems right now that it's becoming clear that this puzzle is coming into place miraculously, metaphysically. These two parot lead the way on a new Agalah, bringing the Aron HaKodesh with the gift of the Plishtim back to Israel. And they go straight. One meaning, Vayisharna, they go straight on this road. They don't go to the right. They don't go to the left. They don't even go on the bicycle lane. They just go on the regular transportation lane. But another meaning we brought in the name of the Gemara, Masechet Avodah Zarah, is that the parot are singing. So, to sound, we ask ourselves, does it sound like, a little part of 20th Century Fox here, or it sounds like it's imaginatory? So what I like to say is the following, and I've seen this before, I didn't see it here though. It could very well be that they're not singing physically. So why do Chazal say that they're singing, Vayisharnas they're singing? Because the fact that these parot are leaving the area of the Plishtim and going miraculously on this path, and everything's happening here against the laws of nature. A new Agalah, two parot, and then the two young ones are back where they are, and they're screaming and they're going and they're going straight. That itself is like a song. That itself is like a song. Why is that like a song? Because everything is complete. Everything is complete metaphysically here. Things are happening so amazing, miraculously. It's as if they're singing. What is singing really? What's the message of singing? Maybe you're both aware that the Torah, the last mitzvah of the Torah, mitzvah number 613. What is it? Kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. Write for yourselves this song. There's a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah.
Maybe song is something that go by itself, something smooth.
Not by itself, but the Torah here is nicknamed in that pasuk a song. Why is it nicknamed a song? You ever say this guy take a shower and sing in the shower? I'm not going to tell you all the secrets. But when he's happy, he sings. The Torah is complete. The Torah is like a song. When something is complete, there's happiness. Here, the Tanakh could be writing illustratively that they're going straight and it's like a song. And they're not singing physically, but it's as equal, it's as if they're singing a song. Why? Because the Hashem's will is being revealed here. Big time. All the things could have prevented and made obstacles for this to happen, and it didn't happen. Everything here is mamash shalem. And therefore, it's like as if Vayisharna Parot, as if they're really singing. And now it seems that's it. It's now true. All the affliction, the pain, the economic devastation they went through is because of the Aron. They took the Aron. That's what it seems that's happening here. Now let's see the next event. Pasuk Yud Gimel. Okay? Uveit Shemesh kotzrim ktsir chitim ba'emek. Vayisu et einehem. Vayiru et Aron. Vayismechu lirot. When we continue reading or skip, when we continue reading or skip to Pasuk Yutet, okay, I'm skipping. Vayach, you have a Tanakh here? Vayach be'anshei, you see Yutet? Vayach be'anshei Beit Shemesh, ki ra'u ba'aron Adonai, vayach ba'am 70 ish, 50,000 ish, vayit'ablu ha'am, Ki hika Adonai ba'am makah gedola. Okay? I purposely wanted to read this now to give us some insight what's happening in Pasuk Yud Gimel. The Aron has arrived to the Judean area. Beit Shemesh, the low Judean hills, and we can find out what season of the year. It's Ktsir Chitim. When is Ktsir Chitim? Which season does it happen? In Aviv, that's Ktsir Se'orim.
Stav.
Not Stav either. No. Sukkot. Sukkot is the time we take in. Right, Shavuot. You have a name?
Aaron.
You're Aaron.
That's Meir.
Menachem.
Menachem.
You're right. In Shavuot is Chag HaKatzir, the Katzir of the Chitim. It's summertime now. Summertime. And somewhere here in Beit Shemesh, there's a valley, which is probably ideal for sowing a grain like wheat. And they're in the middle of the Katzira, which is pretty heavy, which is a heavy time, which is an important time. And they lift up their eyes. They see something unusual. They see the Aron. And it says here, Vayismechu lerot. Now, you read Vayismechu lerot, you think everything is wonderful. Everything is just beautiful here. Okay? Toshvei Beit Shemesh lift up their eyes and they're happy to see it. However, Chazal saw this much differently. And after before you walked in, we read Pasuk Yutet, and we saw the beginning of a calamity. We saw a great punishment here, where it says that Israel is struck, Shivimish, Chamishim Elefish. It's written in a weird way. We'll have to get to that at that point. However, let's go back to where we are, and let's see Rashi here. I think I brought Rashi. No, I brought the Radak. Let's look at the Radak down below, source number Hey, on the source page. Vayismechu lerot. To what extent are they happy in seeing this? So the Radak says, you don't have it in front of you, I have it on the source page here. The Radak says, I have another one. Sir, you can have this. You can look at letter Chet. Letter Hey. Vayismechu lerot, the Radak says, how happy were they? The Radak says, Ad shemerov simcha partzu lirot ba'aron ufatchu v'ra'u ma shebetocho. They went overboard. How overboard did they go? And why were they overboard? They were just so happy. Sometimes when you're so happy, you don't have any brakes. You don't have any stop signs. And you do things which you're not supposed to do. Okay, for instance, what was built inside the Beit HaMikdash for Sukkot, and Ezrat Nashim was built. Why? Because of Simchat Beit HaShoeva, which was so full of joy and happiness and dancing, you just might be lightheaded. And therefore, that would be a separation like a mechitza between men and women. And therefore, Ezrat Nashim, on a balcony, was built in the Beit HaMikdash, as the Mishnah illustrates and tells us in Masechet Sukkah. That's correct. In Masechet Sukkah.
Sometimes not guessing is better than guessing wrong.
You could have. So therefore, here is a classic example. They were so happy. After 7+ months, the Aron HaKodesh is in the Galut, in the hands of the Plishtim, which we explained yesterday, sure, as a Chilul Hashem. And now they see it. They stopped their harvesting. And apparently they did too much. Partzu lirot. They went overboard to see what's inside the Aron. They opened it up and they glazed with their eyes to see what's inside. And therefore they're punished. Lefichach nenshu. Why? There's a pasuk. We're not allowed to see what's going on inside the Aron. It's not a tourist system here. And as Rashi quotes the pasuk at the end of Shmot, velo yavo lirot. You're not allowed to come to see what's inside. Kivalat HaKodesh v'meit. Because if you do see what's inside the Aron, you could die. Rashi, which some of you have in front of you, says the following: Hayu mistaklim he'achu ba'levado. They're wondering, how is it? Where's the driver? Where's the driver? Gee, they see two cows pushing along a wagon, and there's no driver. Now look, you can say in the 22nd century, you have an automatic pilot, and now they're building a technology, right? Where you have you have a driverless car, right? Then there's going to be a halachic question, can you use it on Shabbat? You can program it, the door can open, you don't touch anything, the lights go on, it's ignited by itself by a Shabbos clock. It can be interesting what are the poskim going to say regarding this new automated car. Have you bought one of these? Not yet. Neither have I. So here, they're wondering. Rashi says, "Are you mistaklim he'achu ba'levado?" How did it arrive by itself? I'm not quoting a Rashi that's not on the page. Umisimchatam na'bugo kalut rosh. They acted with improper conduct, with improper respect. Shelo yu mistaklim bo be'ema v'derech kavod. When we meet up with an Aron HaKodesh, first of all, we remember where is the position, where is the place, where does it belong in the Mishkan? Kodesh Kodeshim. Who goes into the Kodesh Kodeshim? Who sees the actual existence of the Aron? Kohen Gadol. How many times a year? Once a year. Leviim see it? No. Yisraelim see it? No. The truth is, the Gemara explains in Masechet Chagiga that they move open the parochet, and we see on the regalim if the kruvim are facing one another or facing other positions, and that would be a symbol or a sign if Am Yisrael is acting in brotherhood, in love with one another, or not. But let's leave that alone right now. The message is, it's not like, watching a Walt Disney film. You sit back with some popcorn, with butter, without butter, and you just watch the film, and the film shows you the Aron HaKodesh. To see the Aron, you have to have eimah, v'fachad, has to be yirah, fear, in these matters. This is the observation of the people that are kotzrim right now. They're acting without eimah v'yirah. They're acting without proper kavod and derech eretz, which is going to lead to this terrible breaching of the matter. In the meantime, the Tanakh tells us in Pasuk Yudalid, okay? So, again, you have to understand, toch kedei, their work that they're harvesting, they stop, they're joyous, but they should have what? Acted with pachad, with yirah, with proper reverence and fear. Pasuk Yudalid, v'agala ba'a El Sedei Yoshua Beit HaShimshi. I would assume that if his name is mentioned, he must be a VIP here in the city of Beit Shemesh. And what happens, apparently miraculously, Vata'amot sham. The Agala stops. All of a sudden, the brakes work, and the journey ends. Where? In the field of Yoshua Beit HaShimshi. Okay? V'sham Evan Gedola. We'll see the significance of this Evan. Apparently they take apart the Agala. They chop it up. What do you think they're using the eitzim for? Fire, fuel. Okay? And what is the Mizbeach? No, what is the Mizbeach? If they're bringing, it says Helu Ola. They brought like a burnt offering on top of what? A rock. There's a rock there. Apparently the rock there is acting as a representation of a mizbeach, So here, another great miracle happens, that what the Mefarshim explain is that when they're on this road in Beit Shemesh, apparently they reverted to right or to the left to a field that belongs to someone. It's not straight on the road, and that too is a miracle. They see there another miracle, hashkacha pratit, an even gedolah, a large stone is there, and they can either use it as a mizbech or use it to place the aron on top. The Mefarshim are divided regarding this matter. And now they have new wood for the need of the korban. And I want to ask you something. Until about a year ago, before the war happened between the Plishtim and Israel, could you or not bring a korban in Beit Shemesh? Why not? Once the Mishkan in Shiloh is there, like the Mishnah explains in Masechet Megillah. There you go. All right. In Masechet Megillah. Absolutely. Then what is forbidden? When we, just like we have a Beit HaMikdash, what's forbidden? A Bama Pratit. You can't build your own private altar in order to sacrifice. But now we're in a period, an interim between Chorban Shiloh and Binyan Beit HaMikdash. So when the Mizbeach, not the Aron, when the Mizbeach travels to Nov and to Giv'on and then to the city of David, we'll learn in the Mishnah that then a Bama Pratit is permitted in building, and that means you can bring Korbanot outside this area. So just like the Mishnah says, Hutru Bamot, from the time of Chorban Shiloh, the Bamot were permitted, to be built. And we see here a classic example. Who is working? What? Go ahead.
That's why now can't we make a mizbeach? Because I heard they wanted it in Egypt, no? They made this huge mizbeach, they act like Kohanim. And
What do we have in Egypt?
no, I heard like a long time ago, they tried to make them like their Beit HaMikdash in Egypt. So why can't we do that now? Technically, make a mizbeach here.
So a lot of poskim do say that you are allowed to build a mizbeach now, even though we don't have a Beit HaMikdash, and bring voluntary korbanot. I don't know if we can bring the obligatory. So apparently, some of the poskim say it's quite revolutionary. You would think you need a Beit HaMikdash, but a lot of the psikat halacha say that it's less difficult to build a mizbeach than it is to build a Beit HaMikdash. And there are people that are doing a quasi-building of a mizbeach and wearing special clothing and bringing a semi-korban Pesach, the eve of Passover, in order to arouse our longing, our wishing, our hoping to rebuild a Beit HaMikdash. So for that. So here, several miracles happen in the stopping of the wagon, the bringing of the offering. What about the Aron? It says here in Pasuk Tedvav, let's continue. Valaviyim, right? We know that they have a holy role. Horidu et Aron Hashem. They took off the Aron of God off of the Agalah. Vet Argaz Asher Ito Asher Bo Chlei Zahav, where they have the gift there as well. Vayasimu Ela Even Agdos. Here it's clear that the Even is being used for putting down the Mizbeach, the Holy Ark. What's happening at the same time? Vanshei Beit Shemesh helu olot. So maybe they built their own mizbeach according to this, and they bring burnt offerings. Okay, it's like a gift. And olah here is like a gift where you have no parts of it whatsoever. Vayizbechu zevachim. But it says zvachim here. What do you think zvachim represents? A zevach is a sacrifice, but it's usually a particular type of sacrifice. It's usually a shlamim, a peace offering, to bring happiness, to bring completeness. So here, why is it Bayomahu? It's history. We haven't been bringing korbanot at least for 7-8 months, ever since the galut of the Aron HaKodesh. And now we're bringing different types of korbanot. It could mean that it's olot and shlamim. And it's a happy day. Who's observing all of this? I don't know with binoculars or not. Pasuk Tet Zayin. V'chamisha starnei Flishtim ra'u. How did they happen to be here in Beit Shemesh? They follow the Agalah. They're observing. These are the political leaders of the Plishtim, and they wanted to see what are the results of this test. Is it really for real? That's because of their sitting, taking the Aron. Therefore, they're being devastated economically, physically, and their gods are being broken up. Or is it just haphazardly happening? They're watching and observing, and as they say in Connecticut, seeing is believing. They're watching, and then Vayashuvu Ekron Bayomahu. They go back home. They go back to Ekron, and they're probably being interviewed by CBS, ABC. Plishtim, free radio, all these things, and they're convinced. Apparently, they're convinced. Pasuk Yud Zayin, Ve'elet chorei hazav asher yeshivu Plishtim Hashem LaHashem. Okay, we're now told that these golden images that are representing the affliction they went through the hemorrhoids, okay, is an asham, is a gift to pacify God. Why 5? It says clearly here, and you were right yesterday saying it, and you said it, yes, Nachon? La'ashdod echad, le'azah echad, la'ashkelon echad, legat echad, le'ekron echad. I would raise a geographic question here. What geographic question could you raise here? Do you see the order that they're brought? Does it represent geographic order or not? Ashdod, Azah, Ashkelon, Gat. Does it or not? It doesn't. Okay? It starts from Ashdod, goes south to Azah, goes north to Ashkelon, goes inland to Gat and Ekron. So I didn't see any answer, but I would assume that maybe it represents the more stronger entities are mentioned first, maybe. The stronger entities, maybe Ashdod is the strongest entity or most VIP entity. So these are the 5 leaders. What about the pesel of zahav that they brought to represent the economic devastation, the achbarim that they have. Pasuk Yudchet, can't you see it? V'achbarei hazahav mispar kol arei plishtim. This is representing all the cities of the plishtim. Lachameshet hasranim, these 5 ministers. Meir miftzah, apparently inside the boundary of the control of the plishtim, there were other cities. It says, and they call them Ir Miftzah. We can assume that Ir Miftzah was a walled city. That's why it's called a city of a fortress. And they also have the Ad Kofer Aprazi. What is Kofer? Kofer from the word Kfar, a village. Prazi, we already see in the Torah. What is in Ir Prazi? And it's also related to in the Megillat Esther. What is in a Prazi, Ir Prazi, do you know? An unwalled city. What does that show? That shows that they have confidence in their defense, in their power, the military prowess. So the gift of the Achbarei Zahav is representing all Plishtim cities, those in a fortress, those that have villages without a wall. Vi'ad Avela Gedola, apparently it's a major city. Asher nicholet aron Hashem et ad hayom hazeh b'stei Yoshua beit Hashemshi. So Avel Gedola apparently is the one that they're leaning on right now, putting the Aron Hashem in the field of Yoshua beit Hashemshi. Okay, in Beit Shemesh is apparently the border between the border of Israel and the border of the Plishtim. Okay, things seem to be complete, but let's see what really happened. It's not only a happy day, it's a sad day. Pasuk Yutet, what happens to those Jews that looked improperly without fear of God? Vayach ba'anshe Beit Shemesh ki ra'u ba'aron Adonai vayach ba'am 70,000 ish vayit'ablu ha'am ki ka Adonai ba'am makah gedola. So here it is. There's punishment to the Jews here in Beit Shemesh. And the question is it 70,500? Is it 500? Is it 70? Is it 50,000 plus 70? Is it 50,000, not including 70? It's written in a weird way. And therefore, Chazal come to the explanation and say here we're talking about in depth, indeed 70 and 70 only of these farmers that looked improperly are the ones that died. But these are not just 70 farmers, these are VIPs, as if they're equivalent to 50,000 Jews. 50,000 Jews. Or there's an alternative meaning which shows maybe, God forbid, that 50,000 died. So why is the number 70? These 50,000 are like equivalent to the 70. Where do we have the number 70? Sanhedrin. That maybe they're equivalent to the number of the 70 Sanhedrin. That's two meanings in Chazal that are brought here. You know, one of the great Rishonim, Rav Yitzchak Dona Barbanel in Spain, he's a tremendous Rishon that often, when you learn his commentary on the Tanakh, you often see that he doesn't take heed to what Chazal says, and he's independent of Chazal. He wants to explain the pshat that he does, and it's a wonder how to read and understand his commentary. He explains, and he asks the following questions. By the way, he's one of those great Rishonim that he writes in the format of question-answer. Okay? In my Mikrot Gedolah that I have the Malbim here down below. The Malbim also assumed this educational pattern, question-answer. Rabbi Yehuda Levi, like the Abarbanel, the Spaniard Rishonim, his entire book, Kuzar, is written in the same format, question and answer. The Ramchal in Dat Tfunot also writes the Sefer out of question and answer. And there are those that say, it's worthwhile adopting this pattern because it's focusing your mind. And it's bringing you how to think, how to understand questions on the Chumash, questions on the Nevi'im and Ketuvim. So I'll share with you a few of the questions that the Abarbanel says that it shows difficulty understanding. He says, look, Beit Shemesh is not New York City. He didn't say that, but you know what I mean. He says, Beit Shemesh is not New York. It's a small place. It can't be that there are tens of thousands of farmers that are harvesting here, and they're the ones looking improperly at the Arov. Doesn't make sense. Question number one. Do you really think, he follows up, that there are 50,000 harvesters? Come on, where would you get this number for? Third, didn't they really give honor to God? They built an altar, they brought up Olot, they brought up Zvachim, they gave honor to God. So how can you say that they're dying? And four, what are they? What does the Radak say? It brings Chazal. They opened up the ark. Do you think 50,000 people opened up the ark, or did they take turns? It's my turn.
Couldn't it be the 70 actually?
Do you understand 4 questions he's asking? It doesn't make sense to say that they sinned in this way of 50,000 people not giving honor to the ark and opening up. He raises these questions. You have an answer?
People seen it, actually seen it, and even 50,000 people from the city of Beit Shemesh, they were punished for the.
So he asked the question, where did he get 50,000 from?
In evidence of the city of Beit Shemesh.
But again, what?
Evidence of the city of Beit Shemesh.
So he wants to say that can't be that Beit Shemesh is 50,000 people. How many people was Yehuda in the 40 or 70,000 approximately? It says in the end of Chumash Bamidbar, right? 70,000. So how can you have 50,000 in one city? You have plenty of other cities. You have parts of Yerushalayim, Beit Lechem, Hebron, towards.
Is it also their children? They got like their.
It says men.
It says men. Where does it say? Vayach bam shivim ish 50,000 ish. So these are the questions. It sounds like very legitimate questions that the Rabbi is asking. So he says the following: here in Beit Shemesh, 70 farmers died. 70. Those are the ones that looked improperly at the Arov. But as far as all the people that died because of the Aron, including those that died in the wars, and the people that died in the cities of Ashdod and Gat and Ekron and so on and so forth, 50,000 represents the sum total, the Barbanel says, of all the people that died because of the Aron, including the Plishtim and including Jews. And now that the Aron has arrived home, Baruch haba, now the Tanakh sees need to sum the total, to give you the sum total of everyone that fell because of the event of the Aron. That's the Abar Ben El's explanation. Okay? The 50,000 is the sum total, because now is the matter. And therefore, when it says Be'anshei Beit Shemesh, see the term, where is that? Beit Shemesh, where do we see the term Be'anshei Beit Shemesh? Vayach be'anshei Beit Shemesh. What is the bet doing there? The bet there is doing is with Anshei Beit Shemesh. In other words, God struck Plishtim and Jews with the Anshei Beit Shemesh. Some total of 50,000. Do you see the understanding? You can see it in the word itself. Do you see it in Pasuk Yutet in verse 19? Vayach be'anshei Beit Shemesh, meaning God struck together with the Jews on Anshei Beit Shemesh. These are the ones that were struck. You had a comment to make? You accept? You like that explanation? Huh? You like that?
Can you explain it one last time? Just this is
Vayach be'anshei.
So only the 70 are.
Im Anshei Beit Shemesh. The sum total is 70 from Beit Shemesh, 50,000 sum total, including all the Jews and Plishtim that died in these wars, and when the Aron is based in these Plishtim cities. That's how he explains it. Let's see the end of the chapter. Pasuk Kaf. Vayomru Anshei Beit Shemesh mi yuchal lamod lifnei Adonai Elohim HaKadosh hazeh ve'el mi ya'aleh me'aleinu. Okay? The Negev, the plague that came here because of the holiness of the Aron, we improperly dealt with, related to the holy Aron. and therefore who can withstand such a terrible thing? And the end of the chapter, Vayishlechu malachim el yoshvei kiryat yarim lemor. Heishivu plishtim et aron Adonai. Redu ha'alu oto alechem. What do the people in Beit Shemesh not want to have? They don't have the ark there. Why not? They suffered such a loss. So where is the place called Kiryat Yarim? It's the area of Telstone, Abu Ghosh, Kiryat Yarim. So today, thank God, the area is named after the name that was here. And we see Yar Yerushalayim there, the forest we see, apparently so many thousands and thousands of trees then, so too today. And the point is, we suffered too much. We're going to bring it closer to Yerushalayim. And but they don't want to have it by themselves. And it's getting further away from Eretz Plishtim. And it'll remain in the Judean area because Kiryat Yarim is part of Yehuda. So they're offering it to be brought to Kiryat Yarim. Hopefully there'll be a safer place. Okay? Continue with this, God willing, tomorrow.